So today, after 2 weeks of doing nothing other than looking at it longingly, I finally get to drive it. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today is day 38 of my Cayman ownership. Mileage right now is 58,449, which means I'm that many miles so far. So apologies for the clickbait, not quite at 1,000 yet, but almost there. Of those miles covered, all but 50 or so of them have been in the wet. December's not the best time to buy a car like this. And those 50 that I did drive in the dry, I was preoccupied with filming my last video. So I still don't consider I've had anywhere near enough time to really drive this car hard and discover its ample talents. And sadly, with the current lockdown restrictions in place, driving this car for me is a very, very rare thing. But today, I've got a 36-mile round trip to the dealer and back. My visit to the dealer isn't for anything serious, a minor niggle really, but it is something that needs sorting, and it does need sorting soon. If en route to the dealer I do get a chance on the nice country roads that I've got ahead to bring it right out, I'll stop talking and let you enjoy that glorious symphonic flat six engine noise. Thus far then in my ownership, I've really not had that much chance to push this car hard, but what I can say is that even driving it at just normal speeds, it feels like nothing I've ever owned or driven. Firstly, there's the size of this thing, and I mean mainly its height. It's low and comically so. It really places your backside right down on the tarmac, and it gives a really, really good seating position. Then there's the driver controls, the steering, the gear shift, and particularly the brakes. They're all heavier than I'm used to. Heavier, less assisted, but not overly so. The gear shift feels really, really mechanical. It's true what they say about the control weights on these cars, the driver interface, all the points you interact with. They are weight-wise and feeling-wise perfectly balanced. Take quite a firm shove on that brake pedal. Then there's the noise that it makes, and I don't just mean when I'm bouncing off the limiter, I mean just driving it at normal speeds like now. The whines, the whirs, the mechanical noises, even the noise of the shift action as it, moves the linkages back there, all coming from behind you, is something I'm still not used to, still getting to grips with every time I drive it, but it does feel and sound very special. At full chat, when I'm saying hello to my new friend, Mr. Rev Limiter, the normally aspirated intake noise comes from ear level and just over there in the corner of the cabin. That sound, when you ring it right out, is hugely addictive. And one other thing that's a standout for me, and it's difficult to describe, but it's like you wear the engine in a backpack. I don't sit in this car, I don't sit on this car, I kind of put this car on. You wear it, you become part of it. And by that I mean, I'm truly connected to an integral part of the car. When I bring the clutch pedal up, I feel the clutch plates kind of come together, but I feel them through my back, through the seat. When sat stationary and playing around with the shift lever, you can hear the linkage moving around and engaging gears, but you feel it as well. Coming from more traditional front engine cars, it's weird, but weird in a very, very good way. Handling wise, I've got a set of matching Porsche N-rated Bridgestone tyres on, so I wasn't expecting too much in the way of wet grip, but around a familiar wet and greasy testing roundabout, it hung on way beyond what I was expecting from it. As I built my speed up around that roundabout and I just felt the front just start to push a little bit wide, I could feel it through the wheel, I could feel it through the seat, and I could feel it almost before it started happening. I knew when it was going to start going. At that point, a slight lift of the throttle, gave some equal slip at the back before it all very nicely came back and hooked up again. This wasn't high speed, 25 to 35 miles per hour maybe, but it shows promise. The chassis balance that I've read about that these things have is really evident, and I can't wait to explore that further. Compared to my first ever performance car, my Renault Sport Clio 172 Cup, a car I really genuinely loved and still miss to this day, this has a wheelbase that is 6 centimetres shorter than that tiny little thing. It's 11 centimetres lower, 5 centimetres wider, but it is 60 centimetres longer. It is 280 kilos heavier, but with an extra 73 horsepower, it's got 20 more brake horsepower per tonne. But all that extra weight really doesn't matter, and it's certainly not felt, because the extra weight is contained low down because the engine's a flat 6, and it's all within the wheelbase. So there's no great big hunk of metal hanging out front, there's no great big hunk of metal hanging out back, all there to just compromise the dynamics. Everything is contained within the really, really short wheelbase. And that means that this car at 1300 kilos changes direction like it absolutely has no right to at all. So that sums up my initial thoughts on this car, my first impressions after almost 1,000 miles. All of those positives shouldn't be a surprise really, because let's not forget this car was designed from the outset to be nothing other than a joy to drive. It doesn't care for passenger numbers, loading capacity, fuel economy or performance stats. It has a singular purpose, one thing only, and it does it very, very well. And that's the exact reason I bought this car. I feel truly connected to it. Driving it feels great, and it really does make me smile. Good weather and the ability to legally take it out for a drive just for the sake of driving it and to lean on it for days can't come soon enough. I just hope the lockdown is lifted so that I can enjoy my somewhat ambitiously booked track day in early March. For now, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here and you haven't subscribed already. I've got a lot more coming with this car, and I'll see you all in my next video.